हाँ चल के तुझे मैं लेके चलूं एक ऐसे गगन के तले, जहाँ गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले। हाँ चल के तुझे मैं लेके चलूं एक ऐसे गगन के तले, जहाँ गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार फले, एक ऐसे गगन के तले।
Our approach to recurrent pregnancy loss was like this. Once upon a time, there is a friend currently in Calcutta who said that recurrent pregnancy loss में पंकज क्या है? Okay, थोड़ा सा एस्पिरिन दे दो, थोड़ा सा प्रोजेस्टेरोन दे दो, कुछ नहीं है तो HCG दे दो, और फिर कुछ सब कुछ हो गया तो उसका सर्विक्स बांध दो। रिकरेंट प्रेगनेंसी लॉस में है क्या? आई एम गोइंग टू मेक यू फील टुडे the changes which are taking place in the subject, and that is what we are going to feel in recurrent pregnancy loss. These are all evidence based messages, not anything of my own, and you are going to get surprised. There many times you will get surprised. Have you ever noticed that if they were laid end to end, all the blood vessels in the human body would encircle the world? Only one human body would encircle the whole world 4 times. Do you know that the distance between the external os and the fundus of the uterus is 2 miles, 3.2 kilometers? Do you know this? Do you know that humans are the only animals with chins? Do you know that the acid in your stomach is so strong that it can digest even the most complex food items, but it doesn't digest the stomach itself? Have you noticed this? Well, be prepared, because I am going to surprise you in this lecture to follow in the next 45 minutes like this. That's my promise. And we are now going to start with a debate. First thing we are coming is a debate, like see how these two people fought. And what is the debate? Recurrent miscarriage, hormone therapy. I remember once in Kota, many years before, I had no office in Foxy at that time. And I had said that I don't believe in progesterone because data doesn't believe. I had the courage to say in a conference where, in the session which was sponsored by hormone makers, it's fine. For me, it doesn't matter. I am a teacher, and therefore doesn't matter to me. But today things are much more clear. And what are they? There is no evidence to support the routine use of progesterone to prevent miscarriage in early to mid pregnancy. What I mean is a routine use, no. When there is no indication, no. Just because you have to give something, and I challenge you, I will be proved right. 80% of progesterones are prescribed without any need. Any need. Our job is recurrent miscarriage, so let us see what happens there. There seems to be evidence of benefit in women with history of recurrent miscarriage. Treatment of these women may be warranted given the reduced rates of miscarriage giving in progesterone group. So authors concluded that for women with unexplained recurrent miscarriages, supplementation with progesterone therapy will reduce. They are very timid. These guideline preparing people are cowards, and I hate cowards, because cowards are walking dead bodies. They use these words, may, this, that. I don't see any reason. I'm taking a clear stand that it does reduce the rate of miscarriage in subsequent pregnancies. This is clear by now. 2019, just 2 years before data. Now questions for US traditions. What route? You know, oral administration guarantees optimal compliance by patients, but shows many disadvantages. This route also results in side effects such as nausea, headache, and sleepiness. This is known. Then what about vaginal? It results in a higher concentration in the uterus, but does not reach high and constant blood levels. Okay, then what about intramuscular? Occasionally induces non-septic abscesses, although it is the only route which results in optimal blood levels. So sir, abhi kaun sa de? Which we should give? Well, there is a good news. And what is the good news? What route you give doesn't matter. Any route you give, it will act. Any route you give, it will act. Now the next question which you have, which progesterone? If you go to the market, you will find these 14 types of apples. Which apple to buy? When there are so many progesterone and every medical representative comes with another one, sir, this is better, first time in India, cheapest in India, this, that, blah, blah, which progesterone? So many progesterones. And that is what this lecture is supposed to be. In miscarriage prevention, let us see the data first. 2020 August, not even 1 year old. Women with a history of miscarriage who present with bleeding in early pregnancy may benefit with the use of vaginal micronized progesterone. Vaginal micronized progesterone 400 milligrams twice daily. Okay, तो ये vaginal micronized progesterone का डेटा है. अभी आगे देखिए. This is 2018 data. Extent of bleeding at day 4 to 10 and subsequent miscarriage rates were comparable between medroxyprogesterone acetate and dydrogesterone. So all are acting. So now which one to prescribe? Well, the good news is which progesterone hardly matters. Any progesterone in adequate dose will act in recurrent miscarriages. That is the message. In absence of recurrent miscarriages or in absence of nothing, no high risk factor is not required. Only one who will be helped is that pharma company whose bosses move around in private jets. Not our patients. So sir, what is the dose and what we should give? That is where my non-biological mother steps in. I have 3 non-biological mothers. One is my school, Rosary School, Baroda. Second is Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Medical College, Baroda. And third is Federation of Obstetrics and Gynecological Societies of India. This is my non-biological mother. Without these 3, I am nothing. And this mother of ours leads us. As Ajay in his previous lecture said, that mother is always a mother even if she carries AK-47. And what is it? It has given a very nice recommendation. For use of progesterone in early pregnancy, if you decide to give oral route, then the recommendation is dydrogesterone 10 milligrams twice a day till 20 weeks of pregnancy. Clear? Vaginal route, micronized progesterone 400 milligrams per day vaginally till 20 weeks of pregnancy. Maybe 1 per day. That should be the dose which should reach. Clear message. And you can follow it. You decide the route and this is the preparation. Now we come to another area where there is a controversy, and that is HCG. And here Cochrane database has something to tell us. As early as 2009, there nothing new has come in this, that the current evidence does not support the routine use of HCG in the treatment of threatened miscarriage. This is what you are giving. A little bleeding, without knowing the cause, you start pumping in HCG. 2013, the evidence supporting HCG supplementation to prevent recurrent miscarriage remains equivocal. A well-designed trial is required before the final answer comes. Therefore, for you and me, as of now, today, HCG does not help. Once again, if you have any queries, please contact me. This is my email, my YouTube channel, and this is my website. This lecture will also be on my website soon. I will email you. We now come to a very amorphous area. I am going to touch controversies today. I have decided to touch controversies. PCOS and recurrent miscarriage. So many amorphous. Amorphous is like powder, not solid. Despite the persistent controversy about the actual prevalence of PCOS in recurrent pregnancy loss, a vast number of studies have revealed an amorphous evidence about their association with each other. It can go either way. But for those of you who are interested in what is latest and what is going to come, this is what is latest. Nowadays, the correlation between levels of anti-Mullerian hormone, homocysteine, and insulin resistance is what is actually studied. PCOS की वजह से रिकरेंट प्रेग्नेंसी लॉस होता है का नाही होत ते कोणी आजकाल डिस्कस नाही करत. लिटरेचर मध्ये ज्या लिटरेचर वाचा तिथे तुम्हाला बघायला मिळेल की एंटायर रिसर्च इज ऑन what is the correlation between the level of AMH, homocysteine, and insulin resistance in PCOS and predicting recurrent pregnancy loss? And I will give you the answer. The prevalence of PCOS seems to be slightly increased in women with RSA. Women with PCOS suffering from RSA showed a significantly higher risk for further miscarriage. But they had decreased chance of having a live birth by about 18%, and this did not reach a statistical significance. Therefore, I am using the word amorphous, powder-like. Therefore, we assume that PCOS plays some role. Okay. Nowadays, the correlation between what I have already told you, AMH, homocysteine, and insulin resistance is being studied. Insulin-resistant patient with RPL was a significantly higher correlation. Average AMH levels in patients with RPL and live births did not differ significantly. Serum homocysteine level is elevated in PCOS patients with recurrent pregnancy loss. Therefore, for improving the outcome, the treatment of hyperhemocysteinemia, insulin resistance in women with PCOS might become the basis for prevention of pregnancy loss and improving reproductive outcomes. I know this is very complicated. This is a treatise for people like me who are in academics. We enjoy these wordings. But you are clinicians, essentially. I have been to each and every place more than once. Ahmednagar or maybe Meerut Sangli. Actually, it is Meerut Sangli Twin Society nowadays. Now it might be only Meerut. Ahmednagar and even Akola many times. In fact, the last physical program which I attended was AMOX conference in that belt. Amravati, Akola, and that belt, where Dr. Pushpa Jungare, my sister, is there. My message, therefore, is very clear for you clinicians. You are essentially clinicians. If a PCOS patient has recurrent pregnancy loss and has any evidence of insulin resistance, it is wise to continue metformin till at least 14 weeks. But that's all. That's all. Now we come to thyroid. One more shady area. Mrs. B had 3 less than 6 weeks pregnancy loss. The clinician attending her got her investigated for thyroid profile which showed TSH levels to be 3.5. Can this produce recurrent pregnancy loss? That was her question. The answer the doctor said was yes. She took an opinion of another clinician who got anti-thyroid antibody tested, which were found to be high. Does this change the interpretation? I will give you the answer as a rule of thumb. And what is it? If anti-thyroid antibody is positive, TSH levels more than 3.5 milli-international units per ml need treatment. However, if anti-thyroid antibody is negative, you need not treat up to 4.5 milli-international units per ml. Clear message. सीधी बात, no बकवास. We come now to chromosomal problems. उसमें नया क्या है, evidence based क्या है? Mrs. 3 had 3 abortions all very early. Her menstrual cycles were normal. They have been advised a chromosomal analysis for the couple and the conceptus. Provided the conceptus they are able to collect. In your opinion, how important and necessary is the chromosomal study of aborted products? This is a question asked to me many times. Let us see what evidence tells. Not a very good level evidence. A is top class, B is Madhyam, C is Kanishk, and D is usually D and E are If the benefit ratio is more, you can use E is the opinion of the authorities. That's all. So let us stick to B and C at the most. And what it says, all couples with a history of recurrent miscarriage should have peripheral blood karyotyping performed. Level C evidence. These are not all miscarriages. Early miscarriages, please. Late miscarriages are usually immunological or anatomical. I will tell you the difference very soon. Early are chromosomal and endocrinal. The finding of an abnormal parental karyotype should promptly warrant a referral to a clinical geneticist. The largest number of recurrent miscarriages are not hormonal, not chromosomal. The biggest number comes from immunological. A very big number is immunological. And that is, Mrs. E had 4 consecutive late first trimester missed abortions. Every word is important. Late first trimester, 10 to 12 weeks and beyond. Missed abortions. FHS were previously seen and then lost. She tests positive for APLA. Should we, 40 GPL units, please remember. Should we repeat the testing? She has no evidence of any viral infection. Now, I am bringing that much portion out for you. She tests positive for APLA 40 GPL units and above. Should we repeat the testing? She has no evidence of any viral infection. Not necessary. Not necessary. Even once and associated with a clinical feature of 3 losses like this, not necessary. I am giving you a very clear message based on solid evidence, solid published data. Not necessary. Don't waste money. Don't waste time. This is immunological. Then in that case, sir, how should we treat? If she comes in an interval period, okay, before 40, around 20, 10, yes, you may. But 40 and beyond, don't. Very clear. If she comes in interval period, aspirin and folic acid. Start aspirin before pregnancy. If she comes when she is already pregnant, then aspirin, hormonal support, which we have already discussed, and heparin in specific situations, which I will tell you very soon. Heparin has lots of mist. I need to clear the mist. This is me standing with a light to clear the mist. In a top class A evidence tells us that in women with a history of recurrent miscarriage and APL, future live birth rate is significantly improved when a combination therapy of aspirin plus heparin is prescribed. So that's sense, that's sensible. And a little less than that, but still above C and above, pregnancies associated with APL treated with aspirin and heparin will still remain at high risk of complications during all 3 trimesters. When I delivered the Dr. Watway Memorial Oration in Sangli, that was the time when I said this, and I presented our data which proved, and this must be nearly 20 years before, I had said with data that this is an immunological process. The fetus is on the verge of rejection at any time. What you are doing is treating the effect and not the cause, and therefore you can fail anytime. Don't be afraid. If the pregnancy has advanced up to 28, most of the time 28, 30, I am sure even in Islampur, maybe they might shift to Miraj, the baby can be saved. But then this can strike at any time, so remain alert all the time. Now I come to an area where there is lots of abuse and misuse. Before 30 years, when I started advocating the use of heparin in immunological recurrent pregnancy loss along with aspirin, little did we imagine that this so competent drug would be so much misused. Today I see prescription because with God's grace and good wishes of people like Kavita and blessings of people like Dr. Mandakini Meg, if she's here, I get references from all over the country. Patients continue to bless me. And I have seen this drug being horribly misused. No, please. अपने घोड़ों को लगाम खींचिए. Let me see. I will put them the situations. ART pregnancies with no past losses, no indication to give, no indication. Subject testing positive for both lupus as well as APLA, of which one of the types is anticardiolipin. Yes, this is the indication. If you have given, it is rational. Subject with only non miscarriage. कुछ भी हो जाए सर, ये प्रेगनेंसी जानी नहीं चाहिए. कौन है वो मिनिस्टर है सर, वो फिल्म स्टार है, वो ये है और वो है और फना है डिकना है. साइंस उनका कोई भी गुलाम नहीं है. और मैं साइंटिस्ट हूं. नो नीड, हैव द करेज, एंड आई हैव सीन प्रिस्क्रिप्शंस. नो नीड. And subject who has immunological losses, who fails to respond to only aspirin, and or had a major disaster like severe PIH remote from term, so before 34 weeks, IUGR or stillbirth or accidental hemorrhage. These are direct indication to give heparin. And last, during my talk in Miraj, when I had visited Somsekhar Patil's house and had a wonderful lunch, I remember him telling about, I discussed with him about steroids, and I said to him, yes, Somsekhar, there is a doubt now, but we have been using steroids. Now we don't use steroids. Currently, there is no reliable evidence, top class evidence shows to show that steroids improve the live birth rate. So please, no steroids. Are people giving? Yes, they are. And hidden causes. Can anything be done for alloimmune losses? What is your opinion on rationality and ethical use of immune potentiation therapy? Type A, top class evidence. Immune therapy, including paternal cell immunization, third party donor leukocytes, trophoblast membranes, and intravenous immunoglobulin in women with previous unexplained recurrent miscarriage do not improve the live birth rate. Do not. Okay. Patience is also a form of action. And I remember once in Miraj, I was asked this by a very brilliant young boy at that time. Now he may not be so young. Dr. Samir Patil, backed up by an equally brilliant mother, Dr. Pushpa Patil. And they asked me about alloimmune. They asked me, sir, Dada, what about alloimmune? Autoimmune, you have said, APLA and so many others. But what about alloimmune? And this is where I am coming within 2 minutes. But one rare thing I am mentioning. I have a habit of relying on very detailed and patiently taken history in subjects of recurrent miscarriage. It allows me to reach the diagnosis of the cause in nearly 80% subjects, after which lab investigation become very focused. Most of the time they are already done. So I hardly require to prescribe any investigation. One of the histories I always ask is family history. How good is my habit? Think. Family history of recurrent. Sir, काय बोलता थे तुम्ही अनाप शनाप? झोप आली का? नाही आली झोप? नाही बाबा. एकदम alert आहो मी. If these were lost after heart activity seen, ask for one question, 1 minute, answer is over, can give you a lead to protein S deficiency and factor V laden deficiency. Both are very rare. Both are very rare. Most of the time, no, I have seen up till now only 3 cases in my entire life, one of which was doubtful. We now are touching on Sachin Nichite, I think it is territory. But no, I will not. I'm thankful to him. His was a brilliant clinico-academic lecture. Brilliant. And I enjoyed it thoroughly. He gave messages. And yes, he taught me. He must be of a little elder than my son, but I felt very proud of him. Ajay always keeps us alert. This man taught me. There were 2 or 3 points which I am going to introduce from tomorrow itself in my sonographies. Very good. Sachin, I loved your lecture. You deserve to be appreciated. See this situation. Mrs. BD attended my OPD with complaints of 4 months amenorrhea, obstetric history, abortion at 4 months, second one abortion at 5 months, preterm at 7 months, and history of ischemic cerclage done. In investigation, blood group AB positive, blood sugar normal. On examination, uterus 16 weeks. Ultrasound shows 16 weeks fetus, good liker, internal os open and cervix short. I am coming to this short part soon. Handle this with cerclage or progesterone. Now are not the days where we are going to, we know, and people like Sachin have reinforced what is a short cervix and this and that. But now progesterone or cerclage. Transvaginal ultrasound, evidence level 1B, good quality, very good quality. Transvaginal, this is what Sachin told. Transvaginal ultrasound assessment of the cervix during pregnancy is useful. And he was very clear on that. The MRC RCOG trial of elective cervical cerclage surely reported a small decrease in preterm birth and delivery of very low birth weights babies. But the benefits was most marked in patients with second trimester miscarriages and preterm births. So in our cases, it will help. I've got only 10-15 slides remaining. I read an interesting recommendation. I have finished only 29 minutes. I have been given 1 hour actually, but I cannot last for 1 hour. In 45 minutes, I will finish. Dr. Vajeda and Dr. Kanchan can relax. As chairperson, they will not have to ring the bell. I read an interesting recommendation. Sachin is welcome if he is there to pass a comment on this. In the 2018 American Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology, that is where our answer comes. It is a comment. It is not a data, but it's a comment. But American Journal found it worth publishing. If on a transvaginal sonography, if you find that the cervical length, as Sachin has taught us to take, is more than 3. Or Sachin has revised us to take, more than 3.5 centimeters, do nothing. 3 to 3.5 centimeters, give progesterone. Less than 3 centimeters, we review clinically and do encirclage. Now, this is a comment and this can give you a lead. That's all. Both progesterones are helpful. I am aware of practitioners who run the entire pregnancy on progesterones and they don't try the cervix, even if the cervix is short. Fine. Everyone as a clinician has a freedom to take his or her own decisions and they are not irrational. We now come to this condition. How to handle recurrent pregnancy loss in these subjects? These are anatomical causes. Essentially, these will be 12 weeks beyond, and these will be live abortions. Compared to immunological, these will be live. Usually, these are 10 and 12 weeks beyond. This will differentiate. These are not early losses. Now, please remember, anatomical factors. The routine, what does data A evidence say? The routine use of hysterosalpingography as a screening test for uterine anomalies in women with recurrent miscarriage is questionable. I have not advised a single one since last 30 years. It is associated with patient discomfort, carries a risk of pelvic infection and radiation exposure, and is no more sensitive than a good, well-done 2D, 3D sonography. Since 3D ultrasound offers both diagnosis and classification of uterine malformations, its use may obviate the need for a diagnostic hysteroscopy and laparoscopy. Women with recurrent pregnancy loss. Sorry, I want to see the previous one. Can be, and with a septum, are best treated with a hysteroscopic evaluation, and there is now enough evidence to show that resection of the septum gives a very favorable reproductive outcome. Evidence suggests that the septum should be more than 1.5 centimeters in size, and care must, however, be taken that once you have resected the septum, please do an encirclage during pregnancy. We now come to a good practice, that a good quality pelvic ultrasound and then in such cases hysteroscopy will help. I come to the last part of my lecture. I have completed 33 minutes, covered 33 minutes. And the last one will take hardly 10 minutes. Before that, once again, this slide. By now, you will be having lots of questions. You are most welcome to ask me. I will surely answer. I have time. I have lots of time. And I always tell, a busy person is he who has time for everything. Anyone who tells I have no time means time is managing them. They are not managing time. I have time. Any time, please say, email me and I am there. We now come to the last and very interesting part of this lecture. And I'm going to touch a bad habit here. And that these are our bad habits. It can be ours, any one of us. I was giving this lecture and I had discussed this part. In the last, probably, I could not attend the Lucknow AICOG because that was the exact time when my son was getting married. His reception was there on that day. I did not attend. But the conference before that, the Bangalore AICOG, a brilliant job done by the organizers there. And that is where on a full house with more than 2,000 people, I said this, that continuously we should be aware of our bad habits. They're just sneaking. And some of the bad habits happen because somebody else is doing it. And some bad habits happen because we have nothing else to do. And our thinking as laymen continues to guide us. And one of them is bed rest. And what all types of bed rest I have seen. Urine to be passed in the bed. Stool to be passed in the bed. Everything in the bed. And still they have water. So bed rest, ladies and gentlemen, is a bad rest. Replace E by A. If you really know the cause of a recurrent abortion, and this is where I am coming with a cause where no cause is found, proper diagnosis. Immunologically, even it could be open to non-APLA alloimmune or autoimmune. And if you have clinical features, then please go ahead. You will not be beating around the bush. Shall we fail? Yes, in around 2 to 2.5%. Don't worry. This is because in many of these situations, you are treating the effects and not the cause. Don't be disheartened. I have had 11 patients with 11 losses, of which 3 occurred in my hand, under my care. First, she was already pregnant. Second time, she was put on the treatment. Third time. And the fourth time when she actually delivered, she knew that this doctor couple knows. They have data, they had read it. And they said that, sir, रहना है तो आपके हाथ में रहना है. I am sure there must be many patients of Kanchan Joshi or Vajeda or Kavita or Ajay or all, so many of wonderful people here. And probably, yes, even I bow down to her, Dr. Pushpa Patil. Wonderful people. They, I am sure, must be having many such patients. रहना है तो sir आपके हाथ में रहना है. And these are the patients in whom the 12th time she reached full term. Caesarean section was done. I have some 7, 8 minutes, therefore I am indulging in this. Caesarean section was required for some reason or the other. When the child cried, there is a screen in between, all of you put. I looked at her and said, Beta, can you hear? She said, no, sir. Na, sir. Gujarati. હું છોકરું જોઉં પછી મી પોલાળા પાયલ નંતર. I can understand 12 losses. The child was examined by the pediatrician, whatever formality had to be done, and the newborn was brought in as of the convention in all clinics, including ours, and was given to the mother. She cried. She wept. And she wept like anything. I understand. It brought tears in the eyes of my wife at that moment. Even I can cry easily, but that moment my wife had tears in her eyes. We always operate together. All surgeries हम दो साथ में ही करते हैं. तो that time she wept. 12 losses और आज बच्चा है. Then when the nurse said that we have to take her for a bath or whatever be the routine remaining, she said, no, I will not give. I understand. But therefore, and I did not prescribe her bed rest, because bed rest is bad rest. Another one, torch testing. Ladies and gentlemen, from the first day I came into this field, I am telling, and today I have gone 60 plus, finished all the ambitions and aims of my life. Now going in and told you in the first slide what I am doing. I am celebrating my life, enjoying it for myself. Dr. B.N. Chakravarti asked me, Pankaj, what are you doing these days? A few days before, I said, sir, I am doing what I wanted to do, not what others wanted me to do. And at that stage, now also I am telling this, torch testing, switch it off. Switch that torch off. No torch produces a recurrent pregnancy loss. Please, my lecture is there on my website. Please contact, see there. If you can't find, email me, I will send you. Have the courage not to prescribe. सर मेरे बाद वाले डॉक्टर ने कह दिया टॉर्च भी नहीं करवाया, वो पागल है इसलिए मैं पागल नहीं बनूंगा. Have the courage. The other day, me and my wife were telling a patient that to tell someone that you don't require treatment and to tell someone that you don't need any treatment requires two things. One is a sound scientific knowledge and experience, and second, a sense of honesty and courage. नहीं बेटा, तुला ट्रीटमेंटची अगदीच जरूरत नाहीये. तू घरी जा. Nearly 15% of patients I have the courage to tell it, and they continue to bless me. I have no regrets on that. बाजू के में बैठे हुए 5-star हॉस्पिटल के ऑब्स्टेट्रिशियन ने कुछ प्रिस्क्राइब किया टॉर्च, उसने मुझे आकर, किसकी हिम्मत ही नहीं है मुझे दिखाने की. But if he has gone to the lab and is going to show me, that lab said, sir, torch आया, वो हंसता है. I don't ask the doctor, but then I said, नाम क्या है? नाम पता चलता है, डॉक्टर का कभी नहीं पूछता. तब मैं, I am unruffled. Oh Lord, forgive them, for they know not what they are doing. Now the last 5 minutes is prescription audit. And we require to audit the prescriptions because, see this prescription. See what all has been prescribed. First, visit and see all what has been prescribed. It is in Gujarati. Don't worry. I am bringing in another prescription. Recurrent pregnancy loss. Patient came originally from Guwahati, living in Hyderabad, flew down from Hyderabad for only an opinion, came in the morning, flew back in the evening. She conceived. And I told them, do you stick to the doctor there? And the doctor was kind, was sending me ultrasound reports and was taking a broad outline this of mine. I did not, but I was sent the prescription afterwards. I will not give the name. Not for maintaining the dignity, a big name. But even Ajay always tells that medico-legally also never comment, and I have never felt the need to fall to that level of dignity. Be tall, राजाओं के ही राजमहल होते हैं, कोई भिखारी का राजमहल देखा है क्या कभी? हमेशा राजा बनो. Don't criticize anybody. So this was the prescription. But prescription we can see. Falsafe, Celes, Sustain SR, injection pollutant 500 once a week, Dexona, Rovamicin, Bharglo, Embryosafe, aspirin 75 milligrams. Now let me evaluate. Falsafe, L-methyl folate plus methylcobalamin plus pyridoxal 5-phosphate. Celes, some lipoic acid, chromium, copper, manganese, selenium, zinc, lycopene, omega-3 fatty acids, गंगा जल, यमुना जल, जो कुछ डालना सब डाला. Sustain SR progesterone, injection pollutant progesterone. I have seen 6 progesterones being prescribed. 6 progesterones. किसको हेल्प कर रहे सर? वी आर सोशलिस्ट पीपल. हर एक मेडिकल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव को हेल्प करने का. Why should we break their heart? बेचारे हमको आके कवर करते. सही बात है. They are socialist people. Dexona 0.5 milligrams steroids. Rowamycin, toxoplasma treatment. Barglob, IM immunoglobulin. Embryosafe, L-arginine and L-leucine. Aspirin, nothing to say, 75 milligrams. Now let us see. Falsafe, you might think, yes, so many combinations in Falsafe. And now let me share this with you. L-methyl folate is a farce, is a big hype. Nearly 2,000 patients are required, of which one will have that converting enzyme deficiency. You are giving because the patient, that in case she has a deficiency of enzyme, then we are directly giving the active form. But why? Our system saksham hai uski. Why we are giving this to 1,999 patients? This is where a teacher comes in. I have the courage to tell, but my heart pains. No need. Simple folic acid, 5 milligrams, and that's it. Celes. Let us see about Celes. No. No, it is unscientific. Sustain SR? Maybe yes, because of progesterone, and we have discussed progesterone. Then repeat Proluton 500? No. Only one progesterone supply, and we have seen it in the recommendation. Dexona? No. Sorry. Rowamycin? No. Barglob? No. Very small extent, I am responsible. Before many years, one paper of mine came with did show some effect of this. Then very quickly, when we got more data of nearly statistically significant number it reached, we found that it is not acting. The difference between politicians and godfathers or religious people and scientists is these two never accept their mistakes. Scientist always tells that no, I was wrong. My concept was wrong. And I have the courage to say that my concept was wrong. Barglob, not Barglob, intramuscular immunoglobulins, IV immunoglobulins doesn't help. Embryosafe doesn't help. Aspirin helps. So of these 9 drugs, only 2, and this also is actually wrong, though you may think right, only 2 were rational. Do you have the courage to learn obstetrics and gynecology or whatever be your subject from the teachers and the books and not from medical representatives? Do you have it in you? Yes, then this is the answer. So friends, to sum up, it has been a long journey, 35 years. 35 years I took along this path of recurrent pregnancy loss. I am in this for dedication and passion. Started today, every day was today. I was then diversified in many areas. In preeclampsia, we went up to electrons and protons and bosons and so many other things. Studied and found out so many things. But that was starting point was recurrent pregnancy loss. So much so that my actually this is a 4th edition technically. Though with this publisher, this is a 3rd edition. And it is still gives me a royalty of nearly a lakh of rupees per year, which for me is a blessing. Because if you circulate it on WhatsApp in a form of PDF file, which many of you do, it's actually not ethical. I as a publisher, I as the writer get only 10% and Kavita knows it. 90% is taken by this. And when you publish it by the publisher, and when you circulate it in WhatsApp in the form of PDFs, I feel we are losing our hard-earned money. With your blessings, God has given me enough. I don't want any more. But there are other authors also, and their books are also circulated. Don't do it. Buy it. You can buy an electronic form. Because this subject has given me felt blessed. And I am really blessed. I came across wonderful people, wonderful organization of Foxy, and such gems and such tenets of life I have learned from my Ma, Foxy. I am not contesting for any election. I don't even attend managing committee meetings, though I am a permanent invitee there. No, mera ho gaya. But I have to acknowledge that recurrent pregnancy loss and its allies, huge number of allies, made me feel blessed. And that is what is in the last slide. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.